everybody, it's Nina. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today I have a card set to share with you that features a way on how you can use loose glitter with heat embossing to attach the glitter onto your die cuts. This is really easy, and I'm going to show you here first the glitter I'm going to be using. The glitter I'm using is from WOW, and it comes in a variety of different colors. I've got some of them here. Today I'm going to be using Santorini, Fireworks, and Peachy Keen, but there are a lot of colors to choose from, and I have a selection of them here. I'm also going to be using this Hooray die from Neat and Tangled. So I'm going to go ahead and start by die cutting the Hooray die from some white cardstock. And because I'm creating 3 cards, I'm actually going to die cut this 3 times. But because I created all the cards the same, I'm only going to show you how I created one of the cards. I'm going to need this die cut piece. I don't need any of the negative pieces, so I'll go ahead and throw all those out. But I'm going to need this piece, and this is what's going to be our die cut that we're going to be covering with glitter. Now to do this, normally you would use some sort of adhesive, but I have a heat embossing powder from Ranger. It's a sticky embossing powder. So what happens is once you heat set it, you're able to apply things on top of it, and I'll go ahead and show you that in a minute. First, I want to go ahead and reinforce this die cut, make it a little bit stronger. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some embossing ink over top of it so I can use some clear embossing powder from Simon Says Stamp. And that's going to allow me to go ahead and heat set this and give it a little bit more of a sturdier feel. By adding the extra layers of embossing powder, it makes this die cut a little bit more dimensional, and it's not quite so delicate. I'm actually going to repeat the inking and heat embossing with the clear embossing powder twice, so I'll have a total of 2 layers of clear embossing powder on top of this die cut. You can see I'm going ahead and doing that here again. And once I've gone ahead and done that, that's going to give me a really nice and sturdy die cut piece that I can now go ahead and start working on adding the other embossing powder, the Ranger Sticky Embossing Powder, onto. So I need to go ahead and create another layer of sticky ink. This is the Simon Says Stamp Clear Embossing Ink. I'm going ahead and covering this entire piece, and I'll bring in that sticky embossing powder from Ranger. I'm going to make sure I cover this completely. Now the trick with this is that you want to get whatever you're going to be putting on top of this embossing powder, you want to get it on really quickly after you've gone ahead and heat set this. So I'm going to go ahead and heat set this powder, and it doesn't take too long because we've already got multiple layers of powder underneath it, and that ends up helping your embossing to kind of speed up a little bit because it melts right into the other embossing powders. So after I've gone ahead and heat set that, I'm quickly transferring that to another piece of paper and sprinkling that glitter all over the die cut. And that's going to sit there for about 30 seconds or so. Now I'll go ahead and go back to that die cut and kind of tap off any excess. I'll transfer it to another piece of paper so that way I can go ahead and just quickly dry this. By applying a bit of heat, I find that it helps hold the glitter in there really nicely into the melted embossing powder, and it doesn't come off. So I can go ahead and rub this and kind of try to pull the glitter off. And if you really scratch at it, you will get the glitter to come off. But if you're just gently rubbing over top of it, the glitter is going to stay perfectly. I've loved using this sticky embossing powder. Alright, so I'm going to turn these glitter die cuts into shaker cards. So I'm actually going to die cut a circle that's a little bit larger than the Hooray die. And then I'm going to go ahead and die cut that Hooray into the circle. This time, however, I'm not going to need that white piece, and I'm going to instead use the negative. So I'm going to go ahead and use that piece. Then I'll go ahead and die cut a piece of acetate, and I'm going to use the same circle die that I had already used to die cut that, so that way it's the perfect same size as our little frame that we're going to be using for our shaker. So here's a look at that acetate. You can use any type of packaging or clear plastic because we're not going to be heat embossing this, so we don't need it to be sturdy and heat resistant. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add some foam tape to the back side of my glitter die cut just because I wanted to have a little bit of dimension. You could use liquid glue if you'd like. I'm also going to add some adhesive to the back side of our little white frame, and I'm going to attach our acetate to the back of that. That's going to be our window into our shaker. So after I've gone ahead and attached that down, I'll go ahead and take my glitter die cut and lay that right over top and just line it up with the negative areas of our die cut circle. And by doing this, this allows us to really kind of get this die cut placed in there perfectly, and we have a good guide for where we need to go with it. So I added some foam tape around the edges, and I sprinkled in some sequins. These were from Neat and Tangled. I also used sequins from Simon Says Stamp on the other cards. Then I'm taking a piece of cardstock to be the backer piece. I used a variety of different colors. On this one I used some brown because I thought it brought out the really nice warm colors that are in our die cut. Now because I wanted to make this as a circle card, I die cut 2 pieces of cardstock that are a little bit larger than the circles that we have already on our card. These I cut from some lavender cardstock from Simon. I'm going to score a fold line along the side of one of those die cuts. Then I'm going to add some adhesive to it and line up the other die cut, which I did not add a score line to. And that's going to create a nice, beautiful round card for us. I'm also going to add some adhesive to the back side of our little shaker element, and I'll pop that right up onto our circle card. And that was how easy it was to create these really beautiful shaker cards. And the more important thing was the glitter die cuts and how I was able to use the embossing powder to create that beautiful glittery effect. And I think it just looks stunning. I created a variety of different cards. Here you can see the one we just did on the video. Here's another one that I did with the Peachy Keen glitter. I think it looks so beautiful, and it really worked nice with some of the new sequin colors from Simon Says Stamp. And then I also used the Santorini glitter, and its beautiful blue colors matched really nicely with some yellows and darker blues. These cards were really fun to create, and I hope it's inspired you to try doing some glitter die cutting of your own with WOW's Sparkle Premium Glitter. And be sure to check out the embossing powder from Ranger, because that I found was really helpful for applying the glitter onto these die cuts. I found it was actually really easy, and I almost think it's easier than using, like, say, full back adhesive sheets or using liquid glue. I found this was really, really easy and took really no time at all. So I hope this video has been helpful. If you enjoyed, here are 2 more videos you might find interesting. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, and you can click on that link on the right-hand side to go over to the blog. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye!